MOU is how do we promote peace and prosperity, how do we strengthen our democratic process within the West and Central African region. We don't have the power to say people should stop corruption. We can only appeal. What we have is the power of moral appeal, where we have, because of who the founder of our foundation is, we have access to political leaders at the highest level. And so we sit down to have conversations with them. We sit down to engage with them on how to promote good governance in their countries. What we can do as a foundation is only appeal and develop programs that help government and all relevant stakeholders in strengthening and putting a check and balance in their government processes to avoid waste or that would aid corruption. As a foundation, our primary focus is on promoting peace and prosperity on the African continent. And so our initiatives are tailored towards that mission. For instance, we were here in 2020, we had the election. We have this forum called West African Elders Forum, and we use these former heads of states to mediate and to provide interlocutory role on advisory services to political leaders at the highest level. I'm glad he's seated here. He was a candidate at that election. You saw what happened when some people rejected the announcement of the results at that time. We stepped in, engaged with all the candidates, and helped reduce tension. So while we may not have initiatives that promote or try to stop corruption, we do work in a separate way. And that our work is, if you don't have peace, like he said, peace and prosperity, if you don't have peace and stability, you can't have prosperity. And so we had to mediate to reduce the tension in the country. I'm not sure you are aware, or who are here, to reduce the tension in the country, and so that the Gambia could move on to attain the peace and prosperity that it needs. So that's how we work. It's not what you think we should be doing, but we look at how the sub-region, because a lot of issues we have in the sub-region really are as a result of poorly managed elections or bad elections, where people lose trust in the electoral process. For us, how do you build the trust of the citizens again in their electoral processes, so that they don't lose the trust? Because when the trust between the governed and the government is broken down, there's nothing we can do. And that's why we are here together. Today, we are at a pivotal moment in our history as the Sahelian region, where the region faces a lot of challenges. And I say, let us talk. How do we rebuild our social cohesion? How do we build trust so that, excuse me, so that governance can work for all of us? There's an African proverb that says that even when spiders unite, their web can tie a lion. That's what we're doing here today. We're uniting to try to fight the issues, the challenges that we are experiencing in the Sahelian region. And we hope that we'll profile solutions and recommendations at the end of the day that governments of our respective countries, of the 10 countries within the UN strategy of the Sahel, would adopt towards reimagining governance for all citizens in the Sahel. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hence is not here. Let's say the Honorable Minister Kante. He did say in the opening remark, he did say that ECOWAS is considering and then the Sahara countries still until there is another agreement that is made between them. So for the meantime, they are looking forward free movement of goods and people. But then recently we have seen that Mali have stopped Gambians from entering by land. I'm talking about almost a year now. What is the step ECOWAS is trying to do in that? So my second question...
No, sorry, one question for journalists, one question to the panelists. We announced this at the beginning.
Yes.
Please stand up and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Usman Serika, a reporter from GRTS. My question is directed to International Idea. Yeah, so I would like to know what Sahel region, what could be done for Sahel region to address the rising threats of extremism, UCGs, and terrorism, and also the strategies that can be put in place, resolution of these conflicts that are happening peacefully, and also how to rebuild trust between government and citizens.
Thank you. One more question from the floor, please. Okay, I'm going to give it to Ahmed at the back.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed Abbas. Radio France International RFI.
Sorry, Ahmed, can you stand up and make sure your mic is switched on? The minister can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, my question goes to the minister. As I said, Honorable Minister, how is the Gambia advancing governance reforms through local solutions? And what role does regional cooperations play in sustaining the efforts put in place? Thank you.
Okay, one more question. Fatu?
Earlier during the opening, we heard that half of Africa's population do not trust in their governments. And so you also mentioned in the beginning the TRRC. And I just want to ask, how are the recommendations from the TRRC informing current policy decisions and actions? And so you're protesting against some of what has changed and what is currently changing, because maybe there are some things that are happening that the people are not aware of. So please enlighten us on that. And just lastly, what's the new foreign policy in light of current changes in funding and support? Thank you.
Okay, one final question from this side.
I think it's enough, because otherwise you'll confuse us. A lot of questions.
It's a lot of questions. Okay.
Should I?
Yes, sir.
I respond to the first one. I didn't get the media house, but from my young brother there. I think there is it's a packed question. You know, how to fight extremism, how to fight unconstitutional changes of government, and also mediation and building trust. I think it takes quite a holistic approach. There's a need for holistic approach. I think if you look at this report that I think UNDP has really done, I must congratulate my brother here and the team that have really came up with a very robust document. I mean, it's important for particularly the young people and the media to actually keenly read the recommendations in this document. And constitutional changes of government, it really comes when elements, let's say within the military or some sort of a popular uprising comes out and takes out whichever form of government, whether it was elected or a government that has been there. So to address that, AU has a lot of normative frameworks. ECOWAS also have different instruments on peace and security. So the whole thing now, looking at where the Sahelian states particularly, let's focus on that, is how do you strengthen the institutions? How do you strengthen the institutions that's providing law and order? How do you promote social, economic stability? How do you provide food and also livelihood for the societies? If you look at countries in the Sahel, there's also an element of climate change that is really eroding the livelihood systems of the communities, and the governments have also not been able to really, generate revenue to be able to really stabilize. So we must look at first return to constitutional order, whether it's through election or dialogue or form of transitional administration, have governments which are accountable, provide opportunities for women, youth, and marginalized groups to be able to be part of that. Dealing with extremism as well is a different, there are so many strategies to use. Of course, the law and order, the security enforcement is one, but it's also about looking at social fabric. How do you strengthen societal social fabric? How do you ensure that extremist narratives are also countered at different levels, right? And the other one is also about mediation, providing opportunities for dialogue. While you are strengthening institutions, while you are rebuilding social contract between the masses and the administration, but also provide opportunity.
The government of the Gambia has done a lot in responding to the TRC, to the recommendations. One of them is that we strengthen anti-corruption frameworks. We came up with a new anti-corruption law, which is called the Anti-Corruption Act. It has been already passed. The shortlisting is done to make sure the commissioners are in place. We have also strengthened other institutions like the National Audit Office, which was non-existent under Yahya Jammeh. Now it is very active. It has been given the liberty and the latitude to go to any institution, any MDA, and do audits. And its audit reports are out there. There is an information holder and ask for any information. As long as that information is not exempted for security reasons, you are bound